Hi, everybody. I'm here with the wonderful Dr. Sue Evans, and Sue was kind enough to write the foreword for the text. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Good, Leah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was such a privilege for you to write the foreword. When I was thinking and umming and ahhing about who to invite, I was adamant it had to be female because CNM had a male, and I was adamant that it had to be Australian, and you were the only one that I wanted. And you accepted.
No, it was lovely to have the opportunity to have a look at it before to think about writing the foreword, and just to see just the quality of the contributors and the diversity of topics and the completeness of what you've managed to get in there. And of course, because there were so many familiar names and because I've been around in the profession for so long, it was also a source of pride.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see where we've come. I mean, even just from the first textbook to this textbook, how things have changed. And it's interesting from my end. But I mean, how long have you been connected to naturopathy and how did it find you?
I started training in the UK in the mid-70s. And then I came home I qualified with the National Institute of Medical Herbalists in the UK. And then came home in 82, started practicing and then teaching at Southern School in 85. Lots of teaching and practice and and just the privilege of watching the profession mature, and just from those early days when there was so little resources. And I always say that when I started at teaching at Southern School of Natural Therapies in 1985, I really could teach what I liked. There wasn't much overview. As long as the students didn't complain too much, I had a lot of latitude, and the resources that I was given was a photocopier. That was, and then since then, yes, our accountability has increased, but so have our resources. Having a look again at the chapters in the book this morning before talking to you, just thinking, I wrote the foreword in January, which was before COVID. We're now talking at the end of May, where there's still a lot of questions about COVID-19. I just think looking at what's in the book and looking at where the thinking has got to with so many practitioners, but also still what I love about the book is that there's still this acknowledgement of the principles on which our profession is founded. And I think that because although nobody knows much about COVID, it is such a strange disease and such a devastating pandemic, but we've got a place to think about it. We can stand on because we can look at our fundamental principles and say, well, okay, if we're looking at the different levels of immunity, okay, so what have we got in terms of prevention? What have we got in terms of treatment? Not for COVID itself, but for, we've treated viruses before, and we've treated all sorts of people. And so we can adapt. And I guess, that's what makes me so encouraged by the quality of the work that's in the book, but also the fact that the principles are also there.
Because you've had such a phenomenal exposure and phenomenal connection to the profession for so long, where do you feel like we've come from and are heading, and what do you sort of see that's going to be unraveling from now?
Don't have a crystal ball there.
No, I know. But I mean, you've seen so many changes. I mean, you've seen where it was, the equivalent of having lessons in small, tiny classrooms to university exposure to.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, if you told me when I was sitting at those squash desks down in Tunbridge Wells in the UK that one day I'd be lecturing in a university, it would be like, you've got to be joking. That would take more than a lifetime. So there are some things that have come to pass that have been really amazing. I guess I would have expected there to be more regulation of practitioners by now. That has been, as as a former president of the National Herbalist Association, the first time the National Herbalist Association put in got a bill in front of New South Wales State Parliament for the registration, for the statutory registration of herbalists was in 1920, you know, or yes, thereabouts, might have been 1925. But, you know, this has been a century. Now, you know, there are pros and cons for all of that, and certainly the experience of UK herbalists is something it's like, oh, okay, they came so close to statutory regulation, and then it's, you know, it disappeared. Whether it's going to happen, you know, who knows? I think some of the encouraging things that I see, well, particularly in terms of herbal medicine, is the constant renewal of interest in using plants as medicines at home. I was inspired as a student to think that plants have been used at all times in all cultures. You know, that there's never been a time, there's not a culture ever that hasn't used medicinal plants.
Yeah.
And there's just something wonderfully connecting. We talk about COVID connecting us. I mean, the use of plants certainly connects us. And the other thing that always inspired me was that the use of plants, medicinal plants, but also the principles of natural medicine are so empowering to individuals. And if you empower people around their health, then it's really difficult to disempower them. Health is such an important thing. And I think that is one of our great opportunities now, is there's such re-education to happen around those basic principles of natural medicine, you know, of good eating, of simple remedies. So yeah, yes, yeah. Whether naturopaths will become part of the mainstream health system, well, there are so many changes that have to happen in mainstream health. You know, the health system in so many countries is really very broken. That we have the diversity of ideas to contribute to a new thinking about health. Yeah, that certainly can be seen in lots of areas in natural medicine, and that's the stuff that excites me most. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. What about for you personally with your journey with naturopathy? Where do you think things will progress for yourself?
Well, these days I teach at University of Tasmania. I teach complementary medicine. It's a sadness that I no longer teach herbal medicine, but I think to have had so many years of wandering around herb gardens telling stories of plants, you know, really I have had, you know, my life has been very blessed. I'm also really excited to be part of the Jacka Foundation, which is one of the very few foundations dedicated to the promotion of natural medicine. I mean, the core idea of the Jacka Foundation is that it's a philanthropic foundation that funds research, but also the focus is on naturopathic pride, which I just think is a wonderful thing. And yeah, I've recently joined the board, and I think there's great opportunities there for us to support the growth of naturopathy. And I see that as, you know, that fits in well with, you know, where I am in my life. And I'm also thoroughly enjoying my young grandchildren and being able to make, you know, cough medicines in the kitchen again, and to be part of teaching them, getting them to recognise different plants. So it really is. It's a great joy to be looking at what's happening with the next generation, but also, you know, still, yeah, I still do love to teach, and so yeah, I'll continue that, yeah, for a while yet, I think.
Good. I hope you don't stop anytime soon, because I mean, what you've contributed is just magnificent. It's just like when I look at it, and when I was thinking about really wanting you to come and write the foreword, I mean, what you've contributed for the profession, for women in naturopathy and herbal medicine is just so beautiful. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Yeah, and thank you, Leah, for continuing on that support of practitioners, which I think is, you know, what both of your books do. And I think it's not only your own journey, but also supporting and providing a platform for so many of our wonderful practitioners. I mean, I just, I look at that book and the first book, and I just feel so proud of Australian natural medicine.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So thank you for being involved. Really appreciate it. Really honoured. Thank you, Sue.
Okay, thanks, Leah.